Matter. Let's tell stories again. The other thing that he started doing 50 years ago was to bring poetry into a hearing space, to put it back out in the air. It's there, it's on the page, it's in the books that you can go to and return to again and again. But that's why this is so appropriate to have his poems put in the air, because it was Galway who started doing that. And you've already heard a couple of testimonies about the power of that. When Galway stood up and recited Book of Nightmares before it was published, anybody who heard that never, ever, ever forgot it. I mean, it changed one's notions about poetry, and therefore was a great permission. And the same thing about the diction. I can't tell you all the words that are in this poem that I should explain to you, because they're words that you have probably not heard before. They're words I'd never heard before. But that would take a long time to go through, and you don't need that anyway, because you'll be able to hear from the story, from the narrative, and also from the music of the line, and you will hear this wonderful sound that will make perfect sense to you. The Quick and the Dead. At the hayfield's edge, a few stalks of grass twitch. Bending close, I find the plump body of the vole. I lobbed him here myself, after snapping him in a trap to halt his forays through the flower beds. He's dead, and yet he lives. He jerks, he heaves, he shudders, as if something quickens in him. Or does something unimaginable happen, a resolution worse than death after death? I prod and tilt him and peer under him to see why he twitches, and find he's being buried by beetles, bright red or yellow chevrons laid across their black wings, carrion beetles, sexton beetles, corpse-eating buriers who delve and undergrub him and hulk out the trench his sausagey form settles into. Now a large beetle spewing at both ends moils across him, drooking him in marinating juices. The reek is heavy, swampy, undoubtedly savory, luring from afar these several beetles, and also those freeloaders of the afterlife, the midden flies, who arrive just in time to drop their eggs in too before the covering of the grave. The vole, by now, has dwelt some while in death, and yet somehow he still is looking good. Mouth gaped, teeth bared, uppers stubby and old folks yellow, inch-long lowers curled inward like uppers of beavers when they must subsist on soft food, scummaging down into a last resting place at the last day, when souls go back to their graves and resume the form and flesh that once was theirs. This one could jump and jig as if freshly risen from a full night's dead sloom. When the fly's edge hatch larvae squirm in and out of the eye holes, in and out of the ears, in and out of the snout, which slurped the airy auras of flowers, in and out of the mouth, which, even cluttered with bent choppers, snipped flowers and dragged blossoms, stem first through gaps in the stone wall, except for a large peony blossom that stuck and stoppered the whole for a week like a great, gorgeous cork, while other larvae wriggle in and out of the anus like revenant turds that go in to practice going out. The last half of the vole's tail still sticks out like a stalk of grass, as if it might be left that way for camouflage. At the grave's edge stands a cricket in glittering black, ogling it all like a Yankee town father spectating at a cross burning. A larger beetle, the pronotum behind her head brilliant red, noggles into view. Pushing the grass down on either side, she plouters without pause past the curled teeth and down into the underroom of the self-digesting birth banquet to deposit her eggs and then wait, and later pick tidbits from the carcass and feed her hatchlings mouth to mouth like a bird. Soon this small plot will be unfindable. Every blade of grass will look like a vole's tail, every smither of ungrassed earth like burial ground. Day won't feel exactly like day, nor night like night, and in the true night, when we have our other more lunatic day, I may hear in the dunch of my own blood a distant, comforting, steady shoveling. But when the human body has been drained of its broths and filled again with formaldehyde and salts or unguents and aromatic oils, and pranked up in its holiday vest and laid out in a satin-lined, airtight, stainless steel coffin inside a leak-proof concrete vault, I know that if no fellow creatures can force their way in to do the underdigging and jiggling and earthing over and mating and egg-laying and birthing forth, then for us, the most that can come to pass will be a centuries-long withering down to a gallpin of dead dust, and never the crawling of new life out of the old, which is what we have for eternity on earth.
Are you full? Full. We actually have one more reader. This is Mira Kozadoy, who is Galway's granddaughter and lives in New York City. Will you come up, Mira?
Sleep's head sprouting hair in the moonlight. You cry, waking from a nightmare. When I sleepwalk into your room and pick you up and hold you up in the moonlight, you cling to me hard, as if clinging could save us. I think you think I will never die. I think I exude to you the permanence of smoke or stars, even as my broken arms heal themselves around you. I have heard you tell the sun, don't go down. I have stood by as you have told the flower, don't grow old, don't die. Little Maud, I would blow the flame out of your silver cup. I would suck the rot from your fingernail. I would brush your sprouting hair of the dying light. I would scrape the rust off your ivory bones. I would help death escape through the little ribs of your body. I would alchemize the ashes of your cradle back into wood. I would let nothing of you go, ever, until washerwomen feel clothes fall asleep in their hands, and hens scratch their spell across hatchet blades, and rats walk away from the cultures of the plague, and iron twists weapons toward the true north, and grease refuses to slide in the machinery of progress, and men feel as free on earth as fleas on the bodies of men, and the widow still whispers back and forth with the presence no longer beside her in the dark. And yet perhaps this is the reason you cry, this the nightmare you wake crying from, being forever in the pre-trembling of a house that falls. In a restaurant once, everyone quietly eating, you clambered up on my lap. To all the mouthfuls rising toward all the mouths, you cried your one word, "Kaka, kaka, kaka." And each spoonful stopped a moment in midair in its withering steam. Yes, you cling because I, like you, only sooner than you, will go down the path of vanished alphabets, the roadlessness to the other side of the darkness. your arms like the shoes left behind, like the adjectives in the halting speech of old men, which once could call up the lost nouns. And you yourself, some impossible Tuesday in the year 2009, will walk out among the black stones of the field in the rain, and the stones saying over their one word, CG, 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 and the raindrops hitting you on the fontanelle, over and over, and you standing there, unable to let them in. If one day it happens, you find yourself with someone you love, in a cafe at one end of the Pont Mirabeau, where wine finds its shape in upward opening glasses, and if you commit then, as we did, the error of thinking, one day all this will only be memory, learn to reach deeper into the sorrows to come, to touch the almost imaginary bones under the face, to hear under the laughter the wind crying across the black stones. Kiss the mouth that tells you here is the world, this mouth, this laughter, these temple bones, the still undanced cadence of vanishing. In the light the moon sends back, I see in your eyes the hand that waved once in my father's eyes, a tiny kite wobbling far up in the twilight of his last look, and the angel of all mortal things lets go the string. Back you go into your crib. The last blackbird lights up his gold wings. Farewell. Your eyes close inside your head in sleep. Already in your dreams the hours begin to sing. Little sleep's head sprouting hair in the moonlight. When I come back, we will go out together. We will walk out together among the 10,000 things, each scratched in time with such knowledge. The wages of dying is love.
Please, let's give a great heartfelt applause to Galway Kinnell.
Thank you from most of my longest and deepest well, anyways, this is the longest and deepest, and I'm so grateful to see so many of you, and so many of you in Kinnell. I'm not going to give you another statement of anything, but I'm going to say my son and my my daughter and my son. There he is, yes. and her. And I loved the above of being loved. And here comes Fergus.
It's wonderful to see this gathering, and thank you so much. And we all love you, Galway.
I want to thank our poets for reading the work, so we had this opportunity to hear these poems once again in this beautiful room. Thank you all so much. It was a joy.